Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today, the storm has passed, the blue skies are out, and the floods brought in a very special guest, completely unplanned. And so we do have that very special guest that is coming in to see us. And
Where's the dock, Jenny? I mean, I got my galoshes, I got my raincoat, my rain hat. I mean, I was expecting a flood. I mean, where is the river? I heard you guys got renamed to Riverside.
we did. And so you are so sweet that you came in. So y'all, if you don't know, this is Marshall Dirks, and Marshall Dirks is Proven Winners, essentially.
No.
Yes, you are.
No. I am a member of the Proven Winners team, and you are a greater member.
Oh, no. Anyway, he came in. You changed all sorts of plans to come see us.
I did.
We did not even know. So you know how I am about full disclosure. Yesterday was a big cleanup day. We were at the nursery. Today I was going to clean up here in the yard. But I told Jerry last night, I was like, honey, I just need some time because my house is a mess and I need just to get my house in order. So Jerry texts me about, I don't know, was that like 10:30, something like that? And he goes, Marshall's here. And I'm like, Marshall who? Dirks? And out of the blue, I'm still in my pajamas. So I was like, give me 5 minutes. So I'm throwing on clothes, a hat, and sure enough, you rearrange. You're supposed to be in Utah right now.
I was, and then coming back home. So, but it's a joy to be here, and I just got blessed this whole morning. I was able to be in your garden center. You guys put me to work. I was weeding.
I don't know if we have pictures of that. But Marshall was like, you got some? I'm like, yeah, we got some weeds. He was like, I got it, and I got you a kneeling pad, and you just went at it.
Yep, but what was a blessing was just really seeing how your customers came out and served you guys. And that's what I'm here for, to serve you guys. I know it's rough, but lots of people were praying and thinking about you guys.
They were.
And you guys mean a lot to us and the whole horticultural family and what you do for gardening. And so that's why I'm here. And now we're here in your garden. I
know, and that's the thing is because I told you in the last video, I'm a very tender-hearted person. And that's the thing is all the people and the prayers. So it is a great thing. So anyway, so
our love to you guys. We're sending that. Hope you guys can feel it.
That's right. We're sending all the love to you. And so thank you for all the support. Now,
it's hot here.
That's it. He really has on the galoshes and everything. So that is the beautiful thing about the water here at Creekside is it comes up fast, but it goes down fast. Yeah. So it had completely, as far as the banks of the creek had receded, I know within an hour, Jerry, of it really flooding, within an hour it was, quote, manageable. Now for 2 days after, you could hear the creek just roaring. So today what I was gonna do before my sweet friend arrived was I was gonna come through the yard and do some cleanup because I've not touched anything since the storm. You're here. I am not going to give up an opportunity to do a video, with Marshall. So what we're going to do is, because Marshall's never been in these gardens before, and you are a plant lover, very clearly. And so we're going to go through a little bit of a garden tour back here, and we're talking about some of the damage that happened, and then some of the annuals, things that are going on, because I think everybody knows we're doing the wedding in 2 weeks. Yeah. So right back there. So we've got a lot of things to do, and I've got some repair work. So we're just gonna kind of go do a really informal, fun garden tour, show Marshall the garden, and then just talk plants in general as we go through.
Sounds great.
Perfect. All right, so as a bit of a recap, we have, because of the wedding, Alyssa, the bride, her favorite annual, you share this in common, is the new Aromanth Mulberry Nemesia, and it's a beautiful plant.
Yeah, I mean, Nemesias was one of those very first crops that came into the Proven Winners family. We had Compact Innocence, and even before that, just Innocence, I think, and then pink and whites. And through the years, the breeding of Nemesias sort of went the same route that roses did. They lost their scent, right? And so we came out with all these other fun colors besides white, pink, and blue. We had oranges and yellows and reds and all that, but we lost that scent. And these are aptly named Aromanths, right?
They
smell
divine.
They're just stunning, and so that's why it is your bride's favorite and my favorite as well. Just because you get that scent finally back in a Nemesia, and the Nemesia performs. I mean, that's going to be for you guys probably November before it goes out of bloom.
It could. So the only thing that I am curious about is, because we tested this last year, is our heat and humidity.
Okay.
So sometimes it'll be interesting to see how it holds up in the heat and the humidity.
Sure.
It's definitely one of the very first things, if it's not was the first thing to bloom in the garden, like in the garden center this year, because it loves it cool. So in the spring, I mean, this thing went through several frosts and I think even a freeze, handled it like a champion. Of course, our problem is heat and humidity.
Sure.
So what will it do then? So,
yeah, and you're right that most Nemesias are their cool crops, those early crops, and then we keep trialing Nemesias, you know, for the longevity.
Yes.
And so even if it stalls out a little bit, you know, for people at home, whack it back, and then it will have a great fall flush, and it will keep performing. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how well it does through the whole season.
So we have that, and then we paired it with the cutie patootie, the campfire marshmallow, the new Biden.
Yeah.
They have filled in quite nicely, and then of course white knight.
Yeah.
So those alyssums. Now this is what I was going to do today, was come through and fertilize. So as far as my water soluble fertilizer, because so Marshall, we got 7 inches of rain on Saturday, and then 5 inches of rain on Wednesday.
So you've leached all your nutrients out, and it's a great
Pretty
message
close.
for home gardeners.
It is.
Because they may not get that type of rain in the ground, but certainly they might get it in their container gardens.
Yes.
And so that's the important things as you water more. And so I always say feed every third time. So in the springtime, you might only feed once a week because you're not watering as much. But in the summer, you're feeding all the time, or you're watering. And so, you know, that's going to darken that foliage up and get more blooms, and you know all the benefits of that.
Well, and that's what we say, food equals flowers.
Yeah,
I mean,
love
you know, with the annuals, that is the way to go. So that is a huge tip. I mean, that's what Jerry does as far as with in the greenhouse and on the professional side. If we get a ton of rain, if the plants that are outside, you automatically go ahead and you feed them.
Yeah.
And it sounds counterintuitive. Well, it's already soaking wet. Why do I add more water? Well, you're adding the food. And so that was the goal today, was to get everything, all the annuals fed. But it's much more fun talking to you than coming out here and fertilizing.
So what's next?
What's next is this lovely array of the Super Tunia Vista Snowdrift. And it is jam-packed. It is doing great. I know that I overplanted. I know snowdrift, but I needed it to look great for the end of May.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Woo-hoo! And talk about double play doozy. Like,
oh my gosh. I mean, I remember when our friends over at Spring Meadow first told us that they were going to introduce another spirea or more spirea. And even before, they were taking professional growers through and said, you know, what are the next crop? And they said, hey, we're working on spireas. And people were like, spireas? Those are like the cheapest, junkiest plants that are always left over. Why do you need one? Well, they really reinvented that class with, you know, the foliage that comes out a different color, and now the bloom, power that these have, and the colors and the size of the flowers. I mean, they have revolutionized this class entirely.
And think about it. 7 inches of rain on Saturday, 5 inches of rain, and the wind. And look how they, look at them.
Yeah, and they're standing straight up. Because we saw some other crops that were just knocked down. They get brittle or whatever. Yes. But these have stood up, and they're gorgeous.
They're gorgeous. They are absolutely lovely. And then right beside of Jerry is the ever popular, ever beloved Incredible hydrangea. And I was inspired personally to create this design from the very famous hedge at Spring Meadow Nursery.
Along Mr. Deppy's property.
Exactly. I will never forget the very first time we visited that nursery, and we were on the grounds at Mr. Deppy's house, and I came around the corner and I was like, Jerry, that's the arch, that's it. Because, you know, you just see that picture of that incredible hedge and then to see it in person. So they are lovely and budded out. 2 weeks, fingers crossed we'll get some color for the wedding. Yeah,
and exactly. This is the same thing even with the spireas, those strong stems, because Annabelle might be flopped already.
Yeah,
maybe
it would be on the ground probably.
Right, and certainly when the flowers bloom, it would be on the ground, and so this is a great testament to how it actually performs. Yes.
So very fun there. Let's pop up here. I want to go up on the patio because, so we built this patio, Marshall, 4-5 years. Yeah, and so this is always a fun spot to, you know, just go through and have lots of fun with the annuals. And because the more I learn in garden design, right, you use that same plant, multiple locations. And so here it is that Aromanth mulberry once again. And actually I took a page from the website and paired it with the Bright Lights osteos.
Yeah.
The Nemesia, a little more vigorous than the osteos, but you know, I'm not too mad about it.
Nope, it's a great color combination. A lot of people like that, and I think that's one of the popularities of these flowers is the purple and the orange, and so you've got that nice play of echo. And then in the fall, you know, those will come back and just retreat you again. And yeah, I love it. I actually said, I need this picture because this is stunning of your house.
I would, yes, we
beautiful
have pictures.
Container.
I would absolutely get those for you. So there's doing well there, and then I mean Saffron finch.
Saffron finch, you can't beat it. You know, it is unbelievable. And you know, yellows and reds are always really tough to get in petunias. And I think we've arrived.
You have arrived. I was really excited when like the mini Vista Yellow came out, right? Yeah. And then it is a great, sweet little petunia. But then when Saffron finch came out, I got even. It is. And you can see. So y'all, if you have like the ton of rain, you might have like this is the damage simply from the rain. You don't need to go out there and deadhead. That is one thing that I mean, there's many things that I love about super petunias, but the fact that you do not have to deadhead super petunias is the absolute best, because so many people will come to the nursery and they're like, oh, I hate they're so fussy, I have to deadhead. And I'm like, nuh-uh, sugar, you just leave them alone and they're self-cleaning, they will drop all this, and you can see already just those beautiful new blooms coming out. Last year was Mini Vista White here. Yep. And I didn't think I'd ever change. And then we trialed the Saffron finch, and I was like, yep, we're going to go for it. So
yeah, some friends in the industry, we have sort of a bet of whether this is going to eventually outsell bubblegum.
Oh.
Jazzberry's coming up there, right?
Yes,
Jazzberry in your garden, your signature garden is looking banging right now, but it's tough to find such a great yellow. And
it is.
It's the right size flower, it's the right size, you know, habit. Dark green foliage. A lot of times in the yellows, you have really light green foliage and, you know, sort of anemic looking.
Yep.
And this has just got, you know, everything you'd ever want. And so it might take a few years, but I'm willing to bet. I
think it could definitely give a run for the money on that one for sure. Absolutely. Yep. And then do you do a lot of Torrenia? Okay, first of all, in case the people don't know, where do you live? What zone are you?
Yeah, I'm outside of Chicago, zone 5B.
Okay, got it. And so do you do Torrenia?
Yes. Yep. I usually do it in containers, but I know a lot of friends of mine have done it in the ground. And actually I have friends in Florida, like this is one of the only annuals that they could really be successful with in the South. You know, we've got, you know, Blew My Mind, Evolvius and things like that. But this Torrenia has surprised a lot of people. And I'm loving that you're showcasing it here.
Absolutely. And Jerry, can you look at the light? We have a little friend. Do you get a lot of little...
I saw one over there. It's like this little green, I mean, it looks like the toys that my kids used to play with. I've never seen one.
So we have so many around here in the garden, and what they'll do, like the males, they'll throw their throat out, and it's this like bright orange flare.
Oh my goodness.
So we have a ton of them, and a lot of times they're like picture perfect. They'll just hang out for me, and I'll catch them with the camera. But yeah, I mean, they're great.
I think that one winked at you. I think you looked right at it. I thought it was a Geico moment. I was feeling it.
It's a Geico moment. Absolutely. All right, let's come around here because we actually, I don't know how the order of the videos is going to come out, but just the day of the storm. So this is part of the damage because of, and we've got to get this off the grass because it'll kill the grass. So we've got to get this off the grass, but I had come through and planted.
I mean, what's Jerry been doing this whole entire time?
He's been sitting around eating chocolate and like,
watching
YouTube videos. I don't know. But so this, bless heart. So we extended this bed just the other day, and then Jerry and Andrew, who's our landscape manager, came through, did some drainage work. It worked, but what happens is that we've got, because of that water, it just cut. So I had literally just planted these double up pink begonias in there. I keep it simple, keeping it simple, and they will bush out and get nice and thick. And y'all, Brenna's back there. I don't know if you can hear Brenna, so she's in there. But it's nice. They'll get nice and mounded and just absolutely gorgeous. I love those monocultures, right? You just do a mass planting of the same thing, It just makes it easy.
Yeah, and what's so amazing here is, you know, with the amount of 12 inches in 48 or 72 hours,
Yep.
usually what you'll see is a lot of botrytis. The spent blooms, they'll be brown and sort of nasty looking, and I know that was one of the primary breeding work of making these, so that they were self-cleaning as well. They would drop, they wouldn't hold on to those, and that they would clean very, very nicely. So I'm super pleased. I mean, the breeder did an amazing job
I love these
to
plants.
get these to this point, but it's demonstrated here you do not have botrytis and no dead flowers sitting on top. So real testament to the work of the breeders on this one.
Absolutely. And the fact that you can do sun or shade with the same plant is amazing, because I have done it in both. And yeah, they are absolutely lovely.
Stunning, great location.
And then last but not least, I'm going to show you this because, so I was talking to the bride, and you recently had a wedding at your house.
I did.
So you will understand this.
Never again, never again. That's my advice to you.
Alyssa, you may be the one and only, darling. So I was talking to Alyssa the other day, because it hit me in the middle of the night. I was like, how are they going to leave the house? Like, how are they going to leave the venue to go on the honeymoon? Because that's a big moment in a wedding, right? The pictures and all this. So I had this panic, and I was like, what if she goes through the front door? We've got to make the front area look really nice. So what we did, Marshall, is up here in the urns, we talked about this earlier, huge fans, caladiums. So we have Snow Flurry, and then Silver Falls.
Beautiful.
Right?
I mean, just simple and classic.
Yes.
And you don't want too much color here, because that takes away from the bride. You want everybody to look at the bride and groom as they're walking out. In fact, one of my very favorite memories of our wedding is that shot of my wife and I walking through an old, turnstile door, and we're waving goodbye and on to our journey. And so this is perfectly planned for them. They'll be thrilled. Doesn't steal away from them, but yet offers that touch of class. And I think that's a great, design technique of, you don't need a ton of color. Keep it simple. You've got the red door. The red door is just screaming, look at me and look at me. And these guys are just playing in the side, the silvers, the whites. So great choice.
And this area can be a little bit challenging, because we're underneath the front porch and it's deep. So it's a bright space, but there gets no direct sun until the very end of the day. And it will get that hot, intense sun, but they can handle it. They can go the shade, or they can go the sun. And so that's the great thing about these caladiums. I tell people, if you're in a hot, humid area and you're not growing caladiums, you're crazy. You're missing out.
You are missing out.
I mean,
and this one even has dark stems. I mean, there are plenty of other perennials and things that have the dark stems, but a caladium with dark stems, I mean, it's just magical.
And for us especially, you can watch these things grow overnight. Like in the summertime, they double in size. You come out the next morning and they are just huge. And all of that beautiful new foliage right there, it's just going to pop up and fill in. And so we got 2 more weeks for these guys to fill in, and then it's going to be great.
And it's in the shape of a lovely heart.
A lovely heart.
Love forever, right?
That's right, because it is a heart to heart.
It is a heart to heart.
It is a heart to heart, absolutely. Marshall, we can't thank you enough for coming. Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
Love you too. All right, my friends.
Love you too, Jared.
That's right. That's right. On the other side of the camera, as always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. Thank you for your love and support, and we'll see you next time. Bye, friends.
Bye.